It's been a while since we talked about Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker. There is no update in regards to the divorce. We did let you know that Kandi has spoken in a couple of interviews recently that so far everything is more amicable than what the court proceedings and what the lawyers might be doing. She said that things between her and Todd are good when it comes to co-parenting their children. I recently saw photos of them celebrating their daughter Blaze and an achievement that she just had in a pageant. So
how cute.
I'm happy to hear that at least the co-parenting side of things are going well. And even Kandi says that even the whole prenuptial agreement conversation and controversy, she's saying that no, it looks like the prenuptial agreement will be upheld. We will continue to follow that story. But this is a particular story that we did report on a while back in regards to their business, their restaurant business. Multiple of those restaurants have closed. And now we see that there's some sort of settlement. According to TMZ, the Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kandi Burruss and her estranged husband Todd Tucker's business was ordered to cough up $140,000 to their former landlord based on a settlement they reached over the debt. So according to court docs obtained by TMZ, the former couple's company, Burruss Tucker Restaurant Group, settled claims over the lease and agreed to pay the landlord $140,509.10.
Crazy, a lot of money.
For rent and remediation costs for their restaurant, Blaze Steak and Seafood. That restaurant just never seemed to pop off, not like the OLG restaurants ended up doing. Kandi and Todd's business had been battling the landlord in court for over a year. The landlord initially claimed that Burruss Tucker owed them over $200,000 in back rent and repairs. The court found that Kandi and Todd's restaurant had entered into a valid and binding settlement agreement with the landlord to pay the $140K, but the RHOA Stars companies denied all allegations of wrongdoing and filed some counterclaims against the landlord over the lease. And I'm sure they're probably trying to settle all this stuff before they finalize their divorce, because all of this they do not want. They want a clean break, basically.
Sure, I agree with him.
Following the back and forth, the court found that the settlement resolved all those claims and that the parties agreed to dismiss them. As a result, the judge said that Kandi and Todd were on the hook for $140,000 owed under the settlement, but everything else was off the table. So that's good news. That's good news. That's good news. It's a lot of money, but they reached some sort of settlement and they were able to resolve this outside of court, and we can move on. Well, yeah, we can move on. However, Dorit Kemsley, it feels like there's always conversations about Dorit and her finances since we met her, if we're being honest. And I said this last night when I talked about the story, because we did do a Hot Topics Live last night, that if Dorit was a black woman on one of these shows, let's say if this was Wendy Asefo, if there was a smoke of financial issues around Wendy for this long, people would be dragging her, calling her broke and things like that. People are doing that already because of the insurance fraud of it all. But
people is idiot, in my opinion.
I find it to be so interesting that people don't necessarily say the same about Dorit. And I already know that Dorit's excuse will be, I didn't know, PK did this, I didn't know. I also find it very interesting that basically whoever owns Dorit's current mansion, it's a bunch of different LLCs that they borrowed loans from that are now saying that you have not paid us in months. Where is our money? So according to Radar Online, they said Real Housewives of Beverly Hills favorite. I thought that's a lies you tell. Beverly Hills favorite? Dorit Kemsley is facing financial disaster with her house in pre-foreclosure after racking up a huge debt, and fans are blaming her shopping addiction. You may
shopping addiction is real.
Recall on last week's episode of Beverly Hills, Dorit went shopping in the Hamptons and she claimed that she got a fraud alert, got denied, she had to use a different credit card. Okay. So Kemsley and estranged husband PK Kemsley purchased their 6-bed, 7-bath Encino mansion for $6.475 million in August of 2019 using a startling number of unconventional lenders. I've never heard of this before, but I haven't bought a multi-million-dollar mansion before. But to use multiple different lenders to purchase something says to me, do you necessarily have the money to actually pay for this? But some might say, well, you have to have something for people to loan you that amount of money. Not really, but okay. The complexion, that might be the only reason why people have given you all these different types of loans. And this is why when we talk about financial crimes and who does it hurts the people that would like to, that actually have good credit to get these loans that get denied because of, I'm not saying that they're committing financial crimes, but I'm just saying. So two of those filed a default notice on January 21st. So Tanka LLC and Private Money Solutions, which loaned $600,000 and $150,000 respectively, and that capital is still outstanding plus interest, giving a total of $842,376. The loan was taken out in February of 2022 and filed. The document suggests that Dorit hasn't made a repayment since September of 2025. So did they take out a loan? Because remember, this place was in pre-foreclosure before, and Dorit had that whole narrative like, oh, PK never
What do you think?
said anything to me. I had no idea about it. And then it was resolved quickly because I remember Dorit saying that PK didn't like whatever the mortgage company was telling him in regards to how much he owed or blah, blah, blah. And then they figured it out. Did they figure it out because PK took out another loan to pay for that?